37% of Americans are taking their paid time off to sleep, not to travel, not to relax on a beach. This is how burned out we've become in our careers. This is a recent article that was just published by Newsweek. I'll link it in the description below so you can check it out. It says 37% of Americans are indeed taking this time to sleep in because their job is stressing them out. And it made me think of a concept we've talked about on the channel before, FU money. And we need to dive into that. This isn't just physical fatigue. It's a mental and emotional burnout from feeling trapped. You have to keep showing up because your finances don't give you any other choice. I've been there, everybody. If this is resonating with you, if you're part of that 37% that you're like, yeah, I feel attacked. I do take time off so I can just relax. When you have to go back to work after your sleep vacation, after your recovery vacation, you're like, do I really have to keep doing this forever? At least until the age of 65, for the next 40 years, for the next 20 years, for the next 10 years? 10 years ago, I was in a job, and it's called golden handcuffs. I don't know if you've ever heard that term before, but you're basically trapped from the standpoint of you make good money, or your finances are just kind of off balance to a point where you're literally handcuffed to your job. You cannot leave, because if you leave, you can't afford life. Or if you leave for less money, it's just not going to be as glorious as what you're making now. But yet you're in these handcuffs because the job is just draining. I mean, every day I would work from about 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. and I would go in, I would have a windowless office, and I'd be trapped in there in a call center environment for over 10 hours a day. But never did I see sunlight. And at the end of the day, I was just so physically exhausted. So I worked for the weekend because, we start our weekends, and what do we do first? We go and we take care of our errands. We do stuff around the house. We take care of our kids. We're doing all this stuff. You barely get any time for yourself. You barely get any time to relax and recharge. So I can totally relate to the fact, because I used to do it myself. You take time off, extra days, not to enjoy life, but just to recharge yourself so you can deal with work. Guys, there's a better way to do this. And I found the way out, and I want to show you and inspire you a different way. So Newsweek, 37%, we're going to change that number. And it starts with this video. When you have FU money, you stop making decisions out of fear. You start making decisions that benefit you. Gone are the days of having to deal with toxic leadership. Gone are the days of corporate politics. Gone are the days of cultures that just drive you insane. You have the power in your hand. And that power is the ability to have a buffer to not necessarily retire. We're not talking about quitting your job and being like, peace, I'm done with life. I'm just totally not doing anything for the rest of my life and I'll figure it out. We're not talking about that. That can be a little bit dangerous in my opinion, because it's what will you do? What if you can't find a job? What if the market's not good? This is about having enough money to give you a gap, whether that's a couple months, a couple years, whatever that may be, so you can literally say FU. That's why it's called FU money. I mean, as always, I like to give you free stuff. I'm going to give you a free tool yet again that you can calculate your own expenses based on your own stuff. Because again, I'll show you an example, but this is based on my own life. It may not work for you. Link down in the description below is this Google Sheet, so you can take advantage of it for yourself. And what we're trying to do is figure out how much FU money we need to have in an investment account, basically. And this can be part of your financial independence portfolio. So just to back up a second, I have a taxable brokerage account with Charles Schwab. That is my freedom fund. Now that freedom fund is actually enough money to generate that I could retire early if I wish to do so. But it also serves as FU money, because if at any moment I just need to take a break and not literally do anything, that money can carry me through the weather, the storms, the whatever. It's actually also helpful if you get laid off too. This FU money works in many different magical ways, but you need to calculate it first. First thing you need to do is right here, when you come into the sheet, when you get it, make sure that, of course, you come up here to file and make a copy. Please don't request to edit it. Make a copy for yourself, because you don't want to edit my numbers. You want to make a copy for yourself. So make sure you do that. But first thing you want to do, monthly expenses. There's 3 tabs on this thing. Monthly expenses is number 1. You got to look at how much you need to live. We're talking basics: mortgage, lights, some fun, some entertainment, kids' activities, whatever. Add it all up. What is your typical monthly expense? $4,000 might be a little bit low. Let's go a little bit higher than that. I'm actually going to go all the way to $8,000. You got car debt. You got all this stuff going on. You need $8,000. Now, I want you to think about this. I'm going to expand this one a little bit, actually. How many months do you want to be free? Now, this is all up to you. Do you want a whole bloody year, or do you want to just say, yo, I just need 3 months to like totally veg out and find another job that doesn't burn me into the ground so I can stop being part of that 37%, right? So you could do 3 months and give yourself an emergency cushion. This basically means, a little bit of, you're going to spend a little bit more than you need to, stuff like that. It's always good to do that. So you can see your FU money goal is $27,600 in this particular example, $8,000 a month for 3 months of freedom. Okay, so progress tracker. This is tab number 2 and a 3. So number 2, what we're going to do, it depends what month you want to start. Let's say, for example, we're going to start fresh at the beginning of the year. You can do this. How much money did you save in month 1? Let's say we did $200. So you can see your 0.72% to your goal. Then February, how much is in your account now? Of course, it's going to be $200 plus your investment return, and that's going to equal a total of whatever that may be. Let's say you went crazy, you got some investment return, you also put like $2,000 in, so it's $2,225. Boom, now you're up 8% to goal. And you're going to keep filling this in. The more aggressive you can get with it, obviously, the faster you're going to get to your goal, as you can see. But the point is, get started and get moving on it so you can get to the point where you need to be. And then the third tab is just for fun, in case you want to look at what does it look like outside of the month goal that you put in. And this is scenario: 6 months of freedom, 12 months or 18 months, how much FU money you would be needed in an investment account. So you can see if you want 18 months of freedom, you're going to need about $172,800. Go check this out. Linked in the description below. All 3 of these things. Plug in your own numbers. Plug in how many months. It will all calculate for you so you can check it out. Have I ever done this, you may ask? Yes, I have. Twice. I've taken months off at a time, and it has been absolutely blissful. Typically in between jobs is when I'll do that. If I'm transitioning from one career to the next, take about a month off. That way I can recalibrate, spend time with the family, get some me time, and go in sharp, excited, and passionate. The last 2 things we need to focus on in this video is how do you build up the FU money, and also how do you invest? As I talked about in the Google Sheet, how do you invest? Where do you invest? We'll talk about all of that. So first up is how do you build the overall FU money? 3 easy steps, and easier said than done. But remember, action equals success. Not doing anything, you're going to stay in the middle of the hell that you're in. Get yourself above and beyond that by taking massive action today with number 1, first and foremost, reduce your fixed costs. So every dollar you don't spend buys you more freedom. And it depends how agitated you are. If you're like totally in a toxic job and you're like, I have got to figure this out. I have got to get out. First and foremost, figure out a way to stop doing stuff. Cancel the Netflix if you have to. Start reducing your car debt. Do something to allow you a little bit more freedom in your budget. You got to go extreme in order to get to that point. The last thing you want to do is be downing your health because of a Netflix subscription, guys. Number 2, increase your income. Now that could be through side hustles and things like that, because certainly if you're in a bad job, you're likely looking for new jobs on LinkedIn or something like that. But what you should do in the meantime is figure out a way to make some more money so you can kind of cushion that and add more money into the FU fund. That way you can have that accessible for when and if you need it. And I would even recommend, if you're not in a toxic job, if you're not in a bad job, why not have some FU money anyway? Because you never know. What if like your company gets sold? What if a boss comes in that you hate? What if like life changes and you got to make an immediate decision? Well, you could be the happiest you are right now, but not having FU money could hurt you should bad times happen. This is above and beyond an emergency fund, guys. This is power, and you deserve it. Number 3, automate your savings. This is the best way to do it, because treat your FU fund like it's a bill and it's due every month. You got to pay yourself first. It's like, oh man, I got to pay that stupid FU fund. Dang it. Well, get on it, because it's going to be a blessing in the future. Now remember, of these 3 steps, the key is momentum, not perfection. If you start off slow, that's fine. In fact, if you're new to the channel, how I started was just investing $5 a day. Gave up Starbucks and took that money I would have put toward coffee every single day, and I put it into VOO, which is the S&P 500. It's an index fund, right? And I've been doing that for the last 3, almost 4 years now. Start small, start somewhere, and then you can scale up as you reduce some of your bills, as you make more money and all that kind of stuff. You see, the thing is, your first taste of freedom doesn't have to be millions of dollars. It can just be an FU fund. And it could be as small as $27,000. Hell, it could be only like a couple thousand, depending on how your bills are and how much money you need to survive for however long you desire. But that leads us to this next point is, what do I actually invest in? I can't give you financial advice. And, I'll give you some things I do that you can look at and do your own research on. But if you're not sure what you're doing or you're nervous, please consult with a professional financial advisor. So as I mentioned, I do VOO, but I do index funds. Why do I do index funds? Because they contain many different companies and they typically return a nice, beautiful return over the average of a long period of time. That's what I need. That's all I care about. I'm not going to put all my money into Tesla. I'm not going to put all my money into AMD or Nvidia, because knowing my luck, I'll do that and then they'll do something stupid and then the stock's going to go down. And then I'm going to be like, dang it, there goes my FU money. Now I got to sit here and wait and be depressed. Oh my God. Now, index fund allows you to taste all the different companies. When I used to do single stocks, I invested in Circuit City back in 2008. Well, have a look at where Circuit City is today. What a stupid decision that was. So instead of worrying about that, you just get the basket of all the different companies that make up the top 500 companies in America with something like VOO. I do have a 3-fund portfolio that I'll talk about in a later video. In fact, when it's ready, I'll link it in the description below so you can check it out. But the most important thing is to start with some type of investment and keep that consistently going. As I mentioned earlier, treat it like a bill, and you have to do it every single month. Your action plan. Number 1, start today. Number 2, download the Google Sheet for free. Number 3, leave a comment with what video you want to see next. You never know, I might feature your comment on the next video. But until that time, make sure you check out this video next. We will see you on the next video.